5:06, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Good morning to you, friends. Hope you are doing well and welcome on into a July 17th. I've got to tell you, I've got to just address it. It is clear that last night, before she came into work, Joan Jones had a morning and an evening of nicotine and whiskey.
Yeah, it was a bender.
Was that what it was? It was a bender?
Is that what they call it? I don't even know what that means.
A bender is more for drugs.
Oh, okay.
Well, listen, I know that Joan is, open to whatever, you know.
So yeah.
Drugs,
She's free-spirited.
cigarettes, whiskey. I mean,
when you're born in Philly, they put that in your
Right.
system right away when you're born.
listen, that in Philly cheesesteaks, So,
What could be better?
Joan, are you feeling okay?
Well, the funny thing is I feel fine. I just lost my voice. I was visiting with my daughter over the weekend, and she got sick. So,
Yeah.
she shared with her mom. Nice of her.
Sharon's caring. That means she loves you.
Yes, clearly.
Well, coming up at 5:35, and by the way, Joan assures me that she can talk and her voice is going
I'll be fine.
to make it through the radio broadcast.
You're forcing her.
Coming up at 5:35, I cannot wait to play for you a piece of audio from The Murphy Show. It is so funny. And I don't know if you folks listening heard what happened on The Murphy Show this week. Very funny, though. Going to play that for you and a whole lot more straight ahead. Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Also, some great examples. Joan, they're talking about cutting the funding to PBS and NPR and all of that.
Oh, yeah, it got passed in the Senate last night.
It sure did.
Yep.
So you know that the president of PBS came out and said, people have a hard time finding examples of the bias of NPR and PBS. No, actually, people have not had a hard time. We'll also talk about that at 5:35 on Nashville's Morning News. A very big day yesterday for Donald Trump. By the way, I'm not opening up with Epstein today. I will talk about President Trump and the Truth Social that he put up yesterday, right at the end of the show. So I didn't see it, but I know that Chad and Matt and certainly Chris all have spoken about what the president said yesterday on that Truth Social, basically saying that if you're still talking about Epstein, I don't want your support. So I will be talking about that a little bit later on in the program here on Super Talk 99.7. But I'm choosing to open up the show talking about something the president did yesterday that was actually quite great. And even the visuals were amazing. You had Donald Trump up there, and he is with the families of people that have died because of fentanyl. And yesterday, the president did sign a bill into law that is going to protect Americans. Listen to this.
Today we strike a righteous blow to the drug dealers, narcotic traffickers, and criminal cartels that we've all been hearing so much about for so many years, and very little has been done. And we take a historic step toward justice for every family touched by the fentanyl scourge as we sign the Halt Fentanyl Act into law. Good job. Good job.
And, he is surrounded by a bunch of folks, and they're all holding pictures of their loved ones. And it was very touching. Now, I think that Trump could do more beyond this bill, and we're going to talk about that. But he did sign the bill into law yesterday, trying to continue really this ongoing battle with the drug cartels and fentanyl coming across our southern border and our northern border. And he spoke about everything that Joe Biden did to really allow the drug cartels to bring all of this fentanyl into our country. This was one of the moms.
My name is Ann Fundner, and I'm an angel parent. 1 year ago today, on July 16th, I stood in front of America and told the story of my son, Weston, at the RNC, and about how he was a beautiful, loving, had a wonderful life.
Yep.
We did everything right. But one pill, one mistake, given by a friend under peer pressure, took his life.
Yeah, and the president is obviously trying to stop it, and he did sign this bill that would permanently classify fentanyl and fentanyl-like substances among the most dangerous drugs. Now, what that is going to do is it's going to increase punishments for drug traffickers and curb the opioid epidemic. That's the plan anyway, and the president spoke about that because he had a lot to say, and especially when it comes to Joe Biden and what happened in the 4 years of the Biden administration. Remember, part of what was going on is that because the Border Patrol was so overwhelmed with people coming across our southern border, that the drug cartels very easily could sneak in the fentanyl. Joe Biden knew it, didn't do anything about it. Well, maybe Joe Biden knew about it, but certainly Alejandro Mayorkas knew about it, and we certainly know about it as well. It's Donald Trump that is doing something about it.
In the last 4 years, fentanyl became the number one killer of Americans ages 15 to 48. And children under 14 are the fastest growing demographic. President Trump, for 4 years, we felt ignored. But you've changed that, and we appreciate that so much.
There were a lot of tears yesterday. Under Biden's administration, of course, again, the wide open borders, the number of deaths skyrocketed. And again, by the way, let's not forget that we do have drug cartels in Mexico making the fentanyl. Those ingredients, though, have been coming from China. And it's not just illegals who's taking the fentanyl across the southern border, but we have obviously American citizens doing the trafficking as well, people here on visas and so forth. So these drug dealers and these drug traffickers, they come in all forms. And part of this bill is that these folks that are doing this, these drug dealers and drug traffickers, they're actually going to now get a lot more time in jail. The punishment is going to be a lot harsher.
Meaning anyone caught trafficking these illicit poisons will be punished with a mandatory 10-year minimum sentence in prison. We'll be getting the drug dealers, pushers, and peddlers off our street, and we will not rest until we have ended the drug overdose epidemic. And it's been getting a little bit better, but it's horrible.
Yeah, the bill signed on Wednesday formally places the drug into a category of controlled substances that yields harsher federal prison sentences, including, again, that 10-year minimum for possessing 100 grams or more of fentanyl analogs, versions of the painkiller that are similar but differ in chemical structure slightly. So among the bill highlights, just real quick, it does classify these drugs under Schedule 1, meaning they have no accepted medical use and a high potential for abuse, clearly fentanyl. Number 2, this gives law enforcement more power to battle the drug traffickers. That was a big part of this bill, and I love this. Harsher penalties for the drug dealers and the cartels. And yes, it does ensure that the FDA-approved Schedule 2 fentanyl, they say, can still be used for legit medical purposes. This is one of the fathers, again, as he is holding a photograph of his son. He is talking about how appreciative he is of Donald Trump, especially, by the way, when you compare it to the train wreckery of the Biden administration.
I would just like to say thank you, Mr. President, for stopping the border crossings. Full stop, mic drop. It was amazing what you did. We were being gaslit, and you came and lit a fire to that story, and we're a lot safer for it. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you.
I mean, just a great moment. And the critics, of course, are out, and they're screaming about a number of different things. We'll talk about that straight ahead. It is 5:15 on Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7. Time to check the roads. Thank you, Joan. Today, as far as your weather goes, a high of 95, scattered thunderstorms as well. 77 degrees at Super Talk 99.7. So talking about what President Trump signed yesterday, this bill that will do a number of things to curb fentanyl coming into our country. I mean, I believe that he's already done it. I believe that with the president effectively closing the border to illegal immigration, that goes a long way, because ultimately now what that does is that does give the Border Patrol the opportunity to say, okay, so now we can focus on making sure that people that are coming across our southern border are citizens who are supposed to be in this country. They've got visas and so on and so forth, but they can also make sure that people are not trafficking fentanyl into our country, whether we're talking about the northern or the southern border. So now, of course, like everything with Donald Trump, there are those that are screaming about how Donald Trump has hindered research and cut funding for research regarding fentanyl and all of this other stuff. You know, the left always has an axe to grind. By the way, isn't today the big day, Joan? Isn't today the big day
For
the protest, the Good Trouble protest?
Yeah,
Isn't that today?
Yep, sure is. You're going to go? You dress very
Am I going to
nicely
go?
for it?
No, I'm not going to go.
You're not dressed up like a protester?
No, I'm not. I've got my new little sweater vest thing on, so no, I will not be going. And the funny thing is that I could just catch the next one this weekend.
Oh, right.
Do you know what I mean? I mean, it's
gonna
just
be
like
more.
They're on tour.
Yeah, it's like it's like Groundhog Day. If only, you know what I wish they would do? Just like, the Steve Miller Band who had to cancel tragically. The Steve Miller Band having to cancel their tour because of climate change. Strange, it doesn't seem to be impacting all of these protests.
Yeah.
No, because they're saving lives.
We'll get into what the Steve Miller Band did. People are openly guffawing, laughing, mocking at the Steve Miller Band for their...
I didn't hear about this, so I got to look this up now.
Sounds like they didn't sell enough tickets.
They did not clearly sell enough tickets. We'll talk about all of that. I'm getting distracted. So the left always has an axe to grind, but I would say that at least Donald Trump is doing something and has done a lot to stop the fentanyl coming across our southern border, which, again, is more than we can say for Biden, who, again, left the borders wide open, overwhelming the Border Patrol so that the drugs could come across that southern border. Still happening, just to a far fewer degree, a lesser degree these days. And, ultimately, America was left incredibly vulnerable. And the thing that people were so frustrated about during the Biden administration, as you know, was that we were being gaslit the entire time. And I think that was also part of the anger and the frustration that a lot of these parents had who were there holding the photographs of their children who had died because of the fentanyl that had come across that southern border. All the while, the Trump administration and Cringe Jean-Pierre, I should say the Biden administration and Cringe Jean-Pierre, they were saying, oh, no, the border is secure.
And this is what we voted for, Mr. President. God bless you. God bless our angel families who are all here with us today. And God bless America. Thank you so much.
So I love it. I do. And, I would like, though, to see the president consider, and I know that there's all kinds of legal issues at play here. I would love to see the president consider some military actions against the cartels. It is complicated. It is you got legal processes, you've got sovereignty issues, you've got, Congress to deal with. So it is incredibly complicated. But I would say bomb the hell out of the cartels. That's number one. And number two, again, let's not forget that a lot of this crap does indeed come from China. The other thing that I liked about this was that after the signing, the president walked around, after the cameras were off and after, the media was walking away and doing whatever it is that the media does in the White House. The president walked around, Joan, and spoke to all of these families of those who had died at the hands of fentanyl. Like, I loved it.
He's a compassionate man.
He is a compassionate man. And do you know what I think happens with Donald Trump? I think part of what happens with Donald Trump is oftentimes he is surrounded by swamp dwellers. He is surrounded by politicians. And I think that he gets satisfaction and inspiration from speaking to real Americans, which is exactly what he did yesterday in speaking to these angel families. So I love what Donald Trump did yesterday. I would love to see him go even further and, bomb the living crap out of the cartels. Again, I know that there are reasons why we can't, but the president has spoken. Tom Homan and others within his administration the first time around have also spoken about, going after the cartels in a far, far harsher way. I wish that the president would, but maybe that will be the obvious next step. 521 on Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7. By the way, watch us on YouTube, Rumble, Facebook, 997WTN.com. Also, you can listen to us anywhere with the iHeartRadio app, the WTN app, the TuneIn app as well. You can find all the links at 997WTN.com. It is 521. Joan was coming up in the news at 5:30.
Well, looks like PBS is hanging on by a thread after the vote overnight in the Senate. That's coming up here at 5:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
537, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Appreciate you being here. All right, so I've got a lot to do in this segment, Joan.
Then get to it, Dan.
I want to do one thing real quick, though. KGB, so I'm running slightly behind today. I think I was probably spent a little bit too much time today, Joan, putting together my outfit.
Too many dangrias.
It's so nice, though. Like, it's a refreshing look on you.
That people cannot see on the radio, but if you want to go watch us on YouTube, you can, along with Rumble and Facebook.
Well, Amy's
and
proud
X
of the outfit.
At 997WTN.com. Again, it is podcast recording day, so I'm a little dressed up, but more than usual.
Did Amy pick it out for you?
Yes, she did.
Yes, she
She's
did.
a good woman.
Anyway, she is a good woman. Just ask her. So, so how did we though? I want to make sure that people don't think that I'm running away from the whole, Donald Trump basically talking about naive Republicans, still talking about Epstein, and it is a leftist hoax, and if you are still, talking about Epstein, then he doesn't want your support. I was shocked by that yesterday, utterly shocked, but I also realized that the listeners to WTN have been hearing this happened right when we went off the air. So you've had Matt and also Chris, Chad, and everybody else talking about this. So, I mean, I don't know what else I can say to add to all of that. I think that was for Donald Trump. I mean, dude, what are you thinking? But everybody's heard everything there is to say about this. And quite honestly, I'm not running from it, but there's a lot of other stuff I want to talk about today. But we did include this in the Daily Dan poll. So, KGB, what is the official question?
Yes. So when Trump said, do not support him if you're still talking about Epstein, how did it make you feel? So we had to come up with some emotions,
Sure.
So we did angry, sad, nothing, like, it just blew by you, or curious, just why would he say something like that? And right now, angry is at 25%, sad is at 9%, nothing is at 42%, and curious is at 24%.
Okay.
So a lot of people kind of just brushed it off.
I was like bewildered. Do you know what I mean? Like I was bewildered.
That's kind of what I think. Curious is this. That's the same kind of feel of bewildered. Like, I wonder why he said that.
It's almost, and it's almost like, well, here I am talking about it, but it's almost like there's sort of like, and we used to always say this about the Democrats too. There's this lack of self-awareness where it's like, dude, you're talking about this, yet you're the one that hired Pam Bondi and Dan Bongino and Kash Patel, the three people that have been spreading this and talking about this for years. They built careers on this story. So how exactly is this a hoax? And by the way, it's not a hoax because all of this actually did happen. So I didn't understand. I don't know, Joan, if you have any opinion on this before we move on.
But Susie Wiles may be on vacation or something because he's just letting loose in all the wrong ways.
It was like, dude, what are you doing? So I mean that was my frustration and my bewilderment at what the president did. Because that's a great point, Joan. There's got to be a lot of discussion behind the scenes about how he is handling all of this, Donald Trump.
There must be.
And as I said yesterday, or whenever I said it, but two things can be true. Trump can be off base on this, but he can also be accomplishing a lot of really good things. So I just think that he's reacting to this. And every time he does something like this, then the conversation continues for yet another day.
I know.
So he's just got to stop. Let people talk about it and let people, if you're going to get criticized for this, President Trump, there are reasons why people are criticizing. And so I'm not running away from this story by any stretch of the imagination. I just understand that you folks have heard hours and hours and hours and hours of this conversation, and you probably need a break from it. So, I mean, that's my official opinion on what the president did yesterday. Major error on the president's part. You guys want to hear what happened on the Murphy Show yesterday or earlier this week?
I want to hear it.
All right. Did you hear this, KGB? Do you know what I'm talking about?
I think I did. I was working traffic, so I think I caught a slip of it.
And he was released when it was determined by Glenn Funk's Funk's district attorney's office. Did you dump me on that? Yeah, it's probably best.
Yeah, that was.
It was a mistake.
Yeah, but it wasn't. That was good.
I was trying to say Glenn Funk's district attorney's office, and I did not say Glenn Funk.
No. See, here's the funny thing, though. I actually like his original version better. There was the F-bomb.
I have a question. If it's a slip up, is it still considered like a curse word? Like he didn't intentionally say the word; it was just a slip up. Like is that still like FCC?
To be honest with you, I don't think it is actually an FCC violation. I could be very wrong by that. I don't know, Joan. What do you think? Is that an actual FCC violation? An honest slip up?
Yeah, because that was clearly a mistake.
Yes, it is.
Oh, it is. I guess because the word is still pretty bad.
Shocking thing is I've been a radio programming executive for decades, and I apparently did know that. Let's play this one more.
That's why you have a dump button. That's why it's important, and it's required. So.
I don't think we would get fined. Let me put it another way. I don't believe we would get fined for that.
Maybe a warning.
No, I think that there may be a fine for that.
Really?
Yeah, I do.
Want to test it?
Nope.
No, we're good.
Let's play this one more time.
And he was released when it was determined by Glenn Funk's district attorney's office.
There you go.
Well,
again, I like Matt's original version.
YouTube is uncensored.
That's right.
It's on
is
YouTube.
Uncensored.
So another reason to watch on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
Or Rumble or Twitch or Facebook
so you can
or
watch
X.
a potty word being said. Wow.
That's exactly right. That's what we need, more potty words on YouTube. Yeah. That's what people are clamoring for.
Cursing might be a little fun.
All right, moving right along. Lots of people sending in their memes to 615-737-9986. Chris and I filming our podcast today, videoing our podcast today. We're going to feature memes and truth in memes. And so if you want to be featured, if you want us to feature your meme, send it in right now, 615-737-9986. Can I play something real quick? This is Ana Navarro and Brad Palumbo on Abby Phillips' show on CNN, where basically what Ana Navarro is doing, and by the way, we've spoken about this before. Have you noticed that Ana Navarro, she has this really weird tendency to, when issues or topics of immigration come up or illegal immigration come up, she lays on the accent
it gets really
heavily.
Thick. Yep.
Oh, my Lord, have mercy.
Yeah.
Sounds familiar.
So she is going after, Ana Navarro is on this panel with Brad Palumbo, who is a white guy. And they're going back and forth on what else, illegal immigration. And what she does is she seemingly just dismisses what Brad Palumbo has to say because he is white. Listen to this.
Talked about a reign of terror.
That is hyperbolic.
No, it might be hyperbolic for you as a white man.
Oh, okay.
It's certainly not hyperbolic for me as a Latino. No, I'm not being racist.
It's incredible to dismiss my opinion for being a white
No,
man.
I'm not dismissing your opinion. I am telling you that the Latino community, the brown community in America.
Speak in one voice.
Okay, well, let me speak with my voice. I mean, you said I was being hyperbolic. Let me respond.
Sure.
I'm not. You being a white man as an insult?
When you invoke.
Actually, yes.
Yeah, right.
On the left, it is open season on white males, and especially if you're a Christian white male.
Yep.
This has been going on for a long time, and they talk about people being, and I'm air quoting this, disappeared. The left wants to disappear white males. I mean, let's just be honest. Anyway, more.
To dismiss my
being a white man is an insult.
When you invoke it,
do you think Latinos are living under circumstances that other people may not be right now in this country?
We're about to have a whole conversation about that very thing.
Well, I mean, to put this in its proper context, I would say to Ana Navarro that if you are, and we've gone through this 1,000 times, and that's why Brad Palumbo is right to say that Ana Navarro and people on the left are being hyperbolic because they're saying, oh, Latinos they're living in the shadows.
Oh,
no, they're
gosh.
not. No, they're not. Not if they're legal.
They're Batman.
Not if they have their papers. Not if they are, living within the immigration rules that we have in this country. No, they are not. So Ana Navarro is being hyperbolic, and people on the left are being hyperbolic. And Brad Palumbo is absolutely right to call out this insanity, this sort of panic selling that the left is trying to sell. Here's a little bit more.
But I just want to make a point that, Brad, all she's saying is that her view of the situation is different from yours. I don't think that's an insult.
She basically said I'm wrong because I'm a white man.
She just said I see it differently.
I said I see it differently.
She said.
So in other words, I just want to make sure I have this right. So according to Ana Navarro and Abby Phillip over there on CNN, that because this is, I believe, what they're saying, that your perspective, Brad Palumbo's perspective as a white male is going to be different than those in the Latino community. Therefore, it is worth less. I mean, that's kind of what I feel like they're throwing down. Maybe I'm being hyperbolic, but I don't think so. Joan, what do you think on this?
I think that she's ridiculous.
Okay, I would agree. But if we're talking about Ana Navarro, you've got to put a big old roll on that R.
I'm sorry, Ana Navarro.
It's ridiculous.
Who is Latino?
I see it differently from you, which is not an insult. It's not, and it's also not a racial insult.
It's also not an explanation why I'm wrong.
So they went on, and that was
You just said you're a white man and didn't explain anything after that. There was no reasoning. It was just saying, oh, you can't say that because you're white.
It's so racist. It's so incredibly racist.
Well, let's be honest. Which side of the aisle is more racist, the left or the right? It is clearly the left. Speaking of the left, Steve Miller.
Yeah,
it is clear.
This is
great.
I
saw this. I found I had the actual post if you want me to read it.
So I've got the post.
Oh, you do?
So
It's
they apparently were getting ready to go out on tour. And they have now canceled the tour because of climate change. So here's what they say. Dear Steve Miller Band fans, you make music with your instincts. You live life by your instincts. Always trust your instincts. The Steve Miller Band has canceled all of our upcoming tour dates. They say the combination of extreme heat, unpredictable flooding, tornadoes, hurricanes, and massive forest fires make these risks for you, our audience, the band, and the crew unacceptable.
Where are you having these concerts?
So you can are they going to the hill country?
Yeah. Are they going to the middle of the redwood forest in California?
So they say you can blame it on the weather. The tour is canceled. Don't know where, don't know when. We hope to see you again.
So the Rolling Stone has this story too.
Yes.
And they noted that Chrissie Hynde also has decided she's not going to play outdoors anymore. She said, my outdoor events are coming to an end. It's too hot. So what I'm hearing is these people are old.
Yes.
They don't tolerate the heat very well anymore. And they haven't sold very many tickets.
They're not selling tickets.
Yeah.
Joan, that the big issue, they're not selling tickets.
Yeah.
Why is it so hot in July? I don't get it.
Yeah, I know, right? It's summertime, folks.
Well, and the really idiotic thing is, okay, so if you want to start blaming, if you want to go down the road of climate change, okay, then let's call you out, Steve Miller Band and Chrissie Hynde, and by the way, both these folks are extraordinarily left. I mean, Steve Miller, he is from old-time San Francisco, right? 60s and 70s. Dude is, I don't know how old he is, but he's really old. But if you want to start, talking about, climate change and all these other things, can we talk about the...
He's 81.
He's 81 years old.
Oh, my gosh.
Can we talk about the carbon footprint of your tours in the 70s and the 80s with all of those trucks, right? They had all of those trucks. You've got all the, I don't know the carbon footprint of drugs, but you've got all the trucks and everything else and all the planes, his jet airplane that he was flying around in, all that kind of stuff.
What songs do they have?
Oh, Steve Miller?
Yeah.
I'm not going to, I mean, you're a little young.
Yeah.
But they've got, The Joker, Midnight Toker, all that stuff. You've got Fly Like an Eagle. You've got Jet Airliner. You've got Take the Money and Run. And that is all I know, as a matter of fact. So, but I'm not going to take it away from, Steve Miller. But, dude,
take it away from him.
You're not selling tickets. That's and people are laughing at them.
Oh,
all
they must
over
be.
the country.
They canceled the tour before the first date.
He had me until forest fires. That's where I got confused. I'm like, why? Like, why is you're in cities? You're in stadiums. Like, what? There's no forest around you. You're fine.
Yeah, people just. I mean, it is obvious that they're not selling tickets and they're looking for someone to blame. You know what the funny thing is? The sad thing. I'll say this is a sad thing. You know, the sad thing is that, to me, what this is going to do is it is going to tarnish the reputation and the legacy of Steve Miller, who is a very good musician, by the way. But now I'm just here to tell you that whenever I think of Steve Miller, I'm going to think of this. How he said that he was canceling the rest of his tours because of climate change. And if you believe in climate change, well, then you can point the finger right back at Steve Miller because of all of those tours that he did with all of those, big semi trucks going across America with all of that carbon footprint, instead of just admitting, you know what, I'm 81 years old. More than likely, dude can't sing anymore, by the way, and nobody's buying tickets. And now he's made himself into, quite frankly, a joke.
He'll make great concerts at the old folks' home.
Oh, Jungle Love. That's another one. Jungle Love.
In the Rolling Stone, they also, as part of their way to bolster this notion that there's too many events that are being, environmental events.
Right.
They said that Bonnaroo was forced to be canceled because of weather-related flooding. So, at the festival grounds.
There's a lot of mud.
There's a lot. Of course.
Was it flooding?
I have seen concerts where it's pouring rain and they still perform. So I don't buy it.
I just got a kick out of how they
they
cited that.
They'll do whatever they can. And by the way, there's a lot of people that were saying that Bonnaroo should not have been canceled. I'm not going to get into that because I wasn't there, and people
you weren't there, man.
People who were there are talking about how really bad the mud was, and so it indeed actually did need to be canceled. I have no idea whether or not it needed to be canceled or not. However, I think it is funny that Steve Miller did what he did. All right, so coming up, Joan, we're going to have to do this in the 6 o'clock hour, 6:06. We're going to talk very briefly about. Actually, won't be brief because there's a lot of comedy involved. We're going to talk about the PBS and NPR, of course, getting their. So now is it official that their funding has been canceled?
No, this goes to the House now.
It's now got to go to the House. The House better pass this, where they're cutting the funding to PBS and NPR. And you had the president of NPR saying, oh, people are having a really hard time finding examples of bias. It took me about 2 minutes. So we'll talk about that. By the way, Senator John Kennedy had a lot to say about this. It is all straight ahead on Nashville's Morning News at 5:55.